Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's Headmaster's blog. It's Friday the 14th of January. Well, it's certainly been a busy and productive week here at KHS, both in and out of the class. The boys and girls have been working incredibly hard and it's been super to chart their industry so early in the new year. No doubt many of them keeping up those burgeoning New Year resolutions that I talked about last week. Today we have beautiful blue skies and it's fantastic to hear the shrieks of excitement as the children spill out onto the Astro, the playground, at break time to take in some much needed fresh air at this time of the week. So apologies if you hear that in the context to our audio, but I'm sure you'll agree it is no bad thing. A big well done to our Year 11 cohort who have been working industriously for their mock GCSE exams this week. Well done to all of you. I know that you have, certainly from your teacher's point of view, really acted with great endeavour, and I would urge you to keep your foot on that proverbial accelerator over the weekend. You have now just one full day of examinations left, and then, of course, you can have a brief respite. Your results will come back, and of course, we need to maintain that all-important momentum in a push for the summer. But well done to all of you. I know that you have worked really hard over the holidays, and I hope that you reap your just rewards when the results come out shortly. Well done also to everybody who is involved in our first fixture list of the term on Wednesday. It really is always rewarding to be able to hold these fixtures, particularly with the context of COVID still lingering around. Fantastic to see so many pupils involved across the age and ability range. Equally fantastic to see lots of parents coming to support. I would just add, I was incredibly encouraged to hear so many positive comments about the behaviour, about the sportsmanship of our teams. Even though we were on the right end or the wrong end of some of those games, if you don't win, then you learn from that experience and you redouble your efforts the next time around. But certainly the Kingswood House way and the values of respect, integrity and endeavour were at the forefront of those teams. So well done to you all and keep it up. Equally, I know that Mrs Hawley and Miss Foster are working very hard with boys and girls for the rehearsals for our stellar production Return to the Forbidden Planet, which is scheduled to take place shortly before half term at Nescott Theatre. If you haven't got tickets or if you haven't sponsored us yet in the programme, please reach out and do so. This is one of the highlights of the school year and we would love parents old and new to get involved and see just what our boys and girls are going to be capable of in what will be Mrs Hawley's inaugural show. And having worked with her previously at Claremont, I can assure you it will be a treat. On Tuesday, we were immensely privileged to host Floyd Steadman here at Kingswood House. Floyd was the first black man to play as scrum half for Saracens Rugby Club and became their captain aged 23. He remains to this day the only black scrum half to have played at the highest level in English rugby on a consistent basis. He also then went on to become a very successful educationalist and headed up no less than 4 independent schools. He talked with great candour and passion about the barriers that he encountered growing up, both personally and professionally, and left a really powerful legacy, a message that fairness and equality are just things that are too important to take for granted. And I was actually very moved at the end of the day when Floyd, who I've known for a long time, paid real compliment to our audiences and said that the listening and the intelligence and the authenticity of the questioning of the boys and girls really reflected well upon the culture here at Kingswood House. And this is from somebody who goes to many, many schools. So well done to all of you who are involved in that. And please make sure that if you haven't done so, you look and buy his autobiography online via Amazon. There's a link in the newsletter. Or at the very least, take 15 minutes out of your day and watch the biography that was made about him on Sky Sports, and a link again to that is in the newsletter. It really is a compelling narrative about a remarkable man that I'm very proud to call my friend, and certainly I think that everybody, pupils, parents and staff who were involved in those workshops would agree that they were immensely worthwhile and immensely relevant. On to this week's mentions in dispatches. Well done to Karen, who wrote a fantastic wish list to Santa at the end of last term, says Mr. Clerk. To Phoebe and to Katie Lowe, both of whom have read loads over the Christmas holidays, says Mrs. Lambert. Well done to everybody in Form 2 or 3 who have shown great resilience and patience during PE, says Mr. Westcott. Well done to Oliver in 4S, who's come back to school feeling really positive and happy, which is good to hear, says Miss Smith. Well done to Seb Phillips, Hugo Hawksby and Harry Roberts for their amazing work with negative numbers in 5F, says Miss Forbes. And Torrin has become Miss Sumner's first mention in dispatches of her Kingswood House career for his excellent attitude to school upon return in January. So well done to you, Torrin. Well done to Sophie Teasman in 6L, says Mrs. Linley. She's currently off school with COVID, but logging in via Teams for the first time and doing really, really well. Well done to Jamil, also from Mrs. Linley, for showing great kindness and integrity in all that you do. Well done to all of 6S from Madame Swift for the way that you have settled back in so smoothly. Aurelia and Aaron have been nominated by Mr. Westcott for their great consistent effort in PE and games lessons, being a joy to teach. And Mr. Farmer has made a couple of inaugural nominations this week. Firstly, he'd like to say a big thank you to Year 6 for being very patient and respectful whilst he was setting up teams. And Mr. Lordy would equally like to say well done to 6S for their enthusiasm with their new topic in geography. And Kai Cho has picked up a nomination from Mrs. Seaver. He's done really well with his fractions, decimals and percentages, especially so since he missed this entire topic due to lockdown last year. Frankie Lata and Ewan Bay have also got a shout out from Mrs. Webb for their good work in computer science. In 7BA, well done to Thomas Hickman and Stanley Brockett-Deakins. Great start to the term, says Mr. Barrett. In 7BL, everybody has returned to school with plenty of zest, says Miss Black. And I have to say, it's great to have you back too, Miss Black. You were off at the start of term with COVID, but good to have you back since Wednesday. Great to have you around again. Sebastian Versace has had a good start. He's been nominated by Miss Patel for being polite and also by Madame Swift, together with Jensen Attlee for really good work in French. Freddie Taylor and Dylan Newman are having extra DT tuition at their request in lunch break. Really good initiative, says Mr. Bailey. And thank you to Mr. Bailey for giving up your time. Jensen, another nomination for you, together with Gabriel Clark, James Miller and Kishan. Really good concentration in computer science, says Mrs. Webb. In 7P, Joshua Samanpalai has been very helpful, says Miss Patel. Freya Kruger has been showing off a really good effort in the assembly for next week. James Dowling, 2 nominations for you. Firstly, from Mrs. Bray for being helpful in sorting out the books to be sent to the school's charity. And secondly, for your French work. And Pippa Taylor's had a great start to the term, says Mr. Farmer. Demonstrated a very good understanding of number properties. Tristan Bush, James Dowling, Sani Wood, Kieran Schmidt, George Dyson, Joshua Samanpalai, all in the good books of Mrs. Webb. Well done in Year 8 to Mikey Sargis, who, after finding out following our lateral flow testing at the beginning of term, he had to go straight home. He went back, logged in, did all his maths work, and really showed great initiative, says Miss Foster. I agree. Shay Tutralia, well done for being the first boy in ATAF to send over a completed draft for his independent project qualification, the IPQ. Well done, Shay. Congratulations to Sam Carroll for his merit in a grade 4 drum kit exam, and well done generally to all of her form for settling back in with good focus. In 8L, Mr. Lord would like to commend everybody for approaching a tricky subject area in PSHE with a really mature and inquisitive attitude, and Mrs. Hornstead is very pleased with 8L for their work on the causes of the First World War. Really good engagement, she reports. In 8T, Madame Taylor is very pleased with all of the boys for a sensible approach to a sensitive subject in PSHE2. Elliot Nicolau in particular has had a good start to the term. Max Lopez, Joel Mukarati have impressed Mrs. Hornstetter with their history work, and Josh Isles and Pryank have also caught the eye of Mrs. Webb. Into the seniors, Tobias Van Hennigan has really worked hard with his confidence in public speaking, reports Mrs. Bray. He is reaping his just rewards. Dan Pepper and Alex Hill have settled in well, says Mr. Hendry in 9H. And Mrs. Weston would like to say well done to Charlie Leonard, Owen Courtney, Bogdan Podrigora and Archie Spick for their classics work. Jack Rolls has made a really good impression with Mr. Farmer. He's shown really good concentration and excellent written methodology. Jack, that is good to hear. I would really like to see that now put across other subjects too, but a really good start to the term in that respect. Well done to Ted. He has made a really good start to term, generally, says Mrs. Linley, and Year 9 art class have been tackling negative and positive space and done some really good work for Mrs. Wraith. Mrs. Hornstetter in 10H is very pleased with Ethan Shee. He's showing excellent manners, being a good role model, holding open doors, etc. Mrs. Hornstetter is also pleased with the boys for welcoming Jess Dunn to the school, to the form, making her feel welcome, particularly James Giles and Pete Duncan. Thank you to you. Pete Duncan again and Yajian have performed very well on their first science assessment of the term. Ms. Patel says they've both scored the highest possible grade, which is a level 9. Phenomenal achievement. Well done. And Harvey Weems has caught the attention of one or two. Firstly for Miss Patel and secondly for Mrs. Linley for maths. A really good start, Harvey. Keep it up. Into 10W, Jack Bunya-Ames has got a nomination for reading really well at the Carroll concert at the end of last term for Mrs. Weston. And Barnaby Hill was really helpful with Mrs. Hawley on Teams recently. And Jack, again, an excellent Teams science lesson performance, challenging yourself to a 6-mark question and giving a fantastically detailed response, says Miss Black. And Mr. Bailey and Mrs. Wraith would like to commend, as do I, and Mr. Mitchell and Mr. March and Mr. Sitday, all of the Year 11s. As I said at the outset, they've handled themselves really well with their examinations. It's not easy to come straight into term and go into mocks, but they have done it with great maturity. Well done to you all. So that rounds up a busy first full week of the term. I'm sure we'll have much more news to report in the days ahead. In the meantime, I wish you a fantastic weekend.